90% of the interactions I've had with Dave have been because there is a catastrophe. Like, I routinely delete my texts with Dave because when I have to text him, I don't want to see that the last text was like, we need to talk. Are you sitting down?
Jackpocket is America's #1 lottery app right on your iPhone. You download Jackpocket and you can play all of the major lottery games right on your phone. You don't have to get up. You don't have to leave the house. You don't have to go to the gas station. You don't have to go to the bodega. You don't have to get stuck behind the guy in the bodega who's ordering 45 different scratch-offs and Mega Millions and Powerball. All of that can just be done at home right now on your phone. Let me show you how easy it is. Boom, Jackpocket's already there in my favorites. Right now, Powerball is up to 303 million. Mega Millions is up to 113 million. I'm going to do Powerball. I click order. I click $2. I click pick automatically. Confirm. Bam. Done. That's it. I got my order. I am now in the running for $303 million for just $2. And you can do it for free. When you use promo code KFC, you get your first Mega Millions or Powerball ticket for free, where you could end up winning hundreds of millions of dollars. If you like the scratchies, if you want to scratch that itch, they now have you covered. All the different games, you can check it all out right now on Jackpocket. Download it today. Use promo code KFC. It's Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app.
That's about to
break
go.
that chair? Yeah. Did you give him the broken one?
What? No, because this one's about. I got like a week left.
I was gonna say that.
I should have done that.
Fuck. No. We have a broken chair that we're waiting till.
I like this.
Thanks, bud. You look great.
You look like you're gonna teach me. Teach me poetry, or
bro, that's your gig.
I know. I just taught
teacher.
Dana how to treat a snake bite if he's ever bitten by a snake.
Do you know that, or are you
I
researching?
had to look it up.
Okay, yeah.
So
at this point, you're
most of the things I have to do a quick 30-minute kind of jam.
It is impressive how much shit you know, though.
Thank you. I stick to the things I know.
Well, yeah, but like just like math and shit that most people forget. I mean,
that's
you
all from
tutor,
tutoring,
right? Yeah,
that was all tutoring.
Like, but do you think you would know that if you weren't tutoring? You think like it would stick with you?
All the like geometry stuff, more like algebra 2 stuff, probably wouldn't have remembered it. But I tutored it for years.
Yeah.
So I just got fluent in it again.
What you got good grades in school?
Yeah.
So I mean, it takes a lot to be like, I'm gonna be a tutor. Like, I know this shit. Like, I can teach.
I was tutoring middle school. You know?
Bro. I don't mean Feidelberg couldn't tutor middle schoolers.
I was
not allowed to.
You guys could all tutor.
Keep talking.
Graders. Oh, he didn't have his mic. I
was gonna say,
we started going, so.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
You used to make money doing that? Good money?
Very good money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you stop because it got weird?
No, I got stopped because I got hired at Barstool.
Yeah.
I tutored one of my friends. Dean.
I tutored one of your friends?
Dean.
That's right. He became like a very important person in my life.
Yeah.
I moved it. That was my first year in New York. I was living with buddies. I was working at an agency, and then I met this family through my aunt. She recommended me to them, and they had 2 boys and a single dad, and I started tutoring them, and then he asked if I wanted to move into their they had a spare bedroom, in exchange like free room and board, and then tutoring the boys for free, but also like he would go on business trips and I would stay and just manny a little bit, and I moved in with them.
Whoa,
to save money.
Kind of fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the older son, at the time they were like, I don't know, 13 and 11. But I became so close with this family that the older son officiated my wedding.
Oh, wow.
And they were both groomsmen.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's some story.
So they're like my brothers at this point. Yeah.
And they're your friends?
Well, Dean is. I went to USC with him.
Oh, wow.
You were the first person technically I met at Barstool because, when I applied, he was like, "Oh, I know someone from Barstool," and then FaceTimed you. I mean, it was over FaceTime.
We FaceTimed?
And then we FaceTimed before, and I was like,
pretty
"Hi."
Pretty memorable, huh?
And you were kind of like, "What up, bitch? Like, why are you?"
What up,
Were you guys at like a party at USC?
Yeah, I was like really shit faced.
That's
oh my god, I just applied. You probably be like, fuck this bitch. I was so annoyed.
Yeah, I would have been. I mean, if you'd been in like a meeting room and we zoomed or something,
and
I would have
like,
taken it seriously.
It was probably like 12 our time, so it was probably like
3 a.m.
Yeah. Like,
Exactly when you want to FaceTime someone at your like potential play.
We're gonna be coworkers.
My dad was trying to tutor recently, just as like something to do, kind of in retirement, and whatever school or whatever he was doing it through, started out just like SAT stuff because he's like good at math, and then they started sending him like special needs people, and he was like, I'm out. Like, I'm not qualified for this.
That requires training. I feel
He's like, I'm just trying to kill some time to get out of the house for my wife. I don't know. I'm not qualified for this shit right here.
Dude, my mom wanted to adopt a kid.
Recently?
Yeah, and my dad was like,
Hell
no.
fucking no. Dude, that is a literal nightmare for like a 60-something-year-old dad who's done, he's finished. And just like, we're just going to press the reset button with a kid that's not even really ours.
And I was like, you want to adopt a kid? My dad was like, oh, you fuck, like the kids just got out of the house.
That is a
What kind
terrible
of kid did he want to adopt?
A human one.
but like a little baby or like
a young kid for
Oh
sure.
my God.
I believe Asian was thrown out.
Yeah,
Little Asian baby? Yeah, that's usually what it is, right? They're not allowed to have those.
Imagine I just showed up with like a Chinese brother.
It would be pretty awesome.
But yo, it's my brother. You can't talk yet.
30 years older than him. What did you think of the jokes Nikki cut from the Golden Globes?
I did not
You
see
seen them?
those.
They're fucking hilarious.
I thought most of them were good cuts.
You think?
Like the Joker 2 one. Nothing obviously
I think
was.
she should have gone for some groans. I would have liked them. Yeah, pull them up here.
I just thought
The Kate Winslet one is money.
I don't know if I saw that one.
Said Kate Winslet's like a lot like cocaine. She's white. She's always around Leonardo DiCaprio, and I'll be looking for her at the after party. That's a good
That's
joke.
a great joke.
That should have been in there. I agree. The other ones were pretty dark, and
I wasn't even thinking darkness. I was just thinking like they weren't they weren't to the
I
level
thought they
of
were
it.
pretty funny.
That one, I didn't say they were unfunny, but like she was so good. The Glenn Powell one, who would have thought you'd be the second hottest hitman this year? That's a great joke. Yeah, that's
Adrian
a great
Brody would go back in time and thank baby Hitler for his career. That's a great joke. These are all great jokes.
Yeah, that's great.
And
then
then
she didn't say these.
No,
or
she cut these and then she went on Howard the morning after and she
Yeah.
said here I think she does that with Howard a lot. She talks about what she does not say in the roasts. And the Baldwin one, I understand why she cut, but that would have been the best because the whole room, the whole room would have been silent.
Yeah. Oh, you know what the one I liked
Yeah.
is everyone enjoy it tonight. This will be the last time we're in a room together. This will be the last time you're all in a room together until Diddy's trial.
That's a good one too.
Oh, and then she said the baby oil, but we're gonna go to and what's the Italian actor's name? She had that thing where she was like, and it's all gonna be olive oil.
Stanley
yeah.
Tucci.
Yeah, Stanley Tucci.
Yes.
I thought that was great.
Good. She killed it. She murdered it.
Yeah.
When someone just says Italian, I think of an Italian person. When you say something derogatory, I think Italian American. So when you
Yes.
what's that Italian
Totally.
actor's name? And I was like, I don't. Stanley Tucci.
We hate Italians. I can't think of a more like I was saying, like she but after the roast and then this, I feel like she just has like blank check territory where like there's levels to making it. Nikki Glazer's been successful for a long time now, but like it's now a whole new level. As a comic, I'd imagine that's like the pinnacle, right? I
think so. I mean, she's, it's weird that like the industry all of a sudden thinks it's discovered her.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. Like, when I was reading these
It's
articles,
all-
I was like learn who Nikki Glaser is. I'm like, you gotta be literally under a fucking rock to not know like anything at this point.
It's
But there's
literally
so
like,
many people.
like the fucking like Columbus discovering America.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
No,
It's like,
we
yeah.
knew you're here.
But it's also
like-
it would almost be though if Columbus came over. Well, I was gonna say, and there was like a thriving, like people, and then there was.
Yeah, no,
it's a lot.
no,
You're right.
yeah.
You nailed it. Yeah, you nailed it.
Look what we found. Like, no, I've known about this for a long time.
Yeah. I think what's good about this moment for her is that she's poised to not falter in this new spotlight, right? Like,
oh, she's made for this.
There's a lot of people who do blow up astronomically overnight, and then as the lights shine brighter, people are like, "Oh wait, they're not they're not what I thought.
They're not that good, or they're not.
Nikki is going to just take this in stride. Be like, yeah, I've been ready to fucking. Where were you guys?
I think the mere fact that how much she crushed it is already proof positive.
Yeah, she's not gonna.
And she said it beforehand. She was like, "I'm gonna nail this."
This is not gonna phase her at all.
Right.
That all of a sudden,
that's the goal.
Everyone
That's
knows
the
who she is.
That's the good side. I mean, I'm sure when you're grinding for however many years, especially as a chick, early on chicks like her and Whitney, who like when there was really no respect yet, all that shit, it probably sucked. And if you asked her, would you rather have a overnight astronomical like explosion? Probably be like, yeah, I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do it this way, it's like you're ready to go now.
Exactly.
Yeah. You got your.
I also like that she's grateful and she makes trying hard cool. Like she'll admit, like I worked on this for years and years and years, or not years and years and years, months and months and months, and like it pays off rather than just being like I don't know, like I knew I could do it.
Yeah, I'm just so naturally talented. It's like no, it takes work.
Yeah.
How I feel like Boy Dad is actually first let's talk about Survivor.
Sure.
You were in Surviving. You really walked in on Mintzy jerking off?
Yeah,
That was real.
Yeah.
Because I heard that, and then I was like, I think that was like a Francis joke or something.
No.
Like, he was fucking cracking
Well,
stick.
okay, so this is what I saw. So
You're welcome, Greer.
What?
I didn't say you're welcome, Greer.
Greer wanted to hear about this. Yeah.
We had a shared bathroom, his and hers, right? And I had an entrance and he had an entrance, and it was down. You could look through one entrance straight to his bed, and my door to the bathroom was closed, so I thought he might be in there. I had to go pee. I knock on the door. I don't hear anything, so I open my door. His door to the bathroom was wide open, and then he was on the bed. And what I saw was that his laptop was open, and then he was naked, and he very hurriedly ripped the covers up to cover himself.
Okay, that guy was jerking off, yeah.
So I went, oh, sorry. And I then, to give him privacy, I closed his door, which, why is that open?
Like, there's so many whys.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing it at all? And
Yeah.
if you're going to do it, why are you doing it at what time is it?
It's 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, like middle of the day. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to do it, close all the doors to the room and probably lock them.
Giving yourself a little afternoon delight in a
2 p.m.
house with the rest of the boys.
What else were you guys doing though, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, 2 p.m.
I mean,
like, we've been in here for 36 hours doing nothing.
Let me ask you this. You were in the bathroom.
Yeah, then I closed his door and started peeing, and he was like, "Oh, that's okay," because I was apologizing through the door, and then he turned on "Pardon My Take," which again, I'm pretty confident he like slammed his laptop shut, which would mean that he then reopened the laptop and then put in "Listen to Pardon My Take." To like retroactively convince me that that's
What was going on?
what was going on.
I was naked listening to Dan and BFT.
Dan and BFT are always like, huh?
Yeah.
They're always making noises like
And
that.
for what it's worth, I guarantee you that he is not the first employee to jerk off to Pardon My Take. There are definitely some weirdos here. Meek Mill comes to mind, Meek Phil, whatever, who have probably done that. But that said, I did.
The fastest 2 minutes.
I spoke to Mintzy about it, and he was like, I was getting ready to shower. That's not what happened. He may be right. The
Something
way
weird.
it presented, I was like, this is exactly what's happened.
You're an adult man laying in bed naked. There's one of two reasons. There was no woman in the room, so
Yeah.
it seems like it was the other reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so you're saying one of the questions I was going to ask you is being in the bathroom. Was it a room that was just showered in? Because then that would explain the nakedness.
Yeah, you get
Because
out.
if you're getting
no,
naked
he said he was getting ready to shower.
and then decided to lay back down and jerk off.
Theoretically,
He's
you
in
could
bed
get
with his laptop open.
You could get off track and maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to throw him a bone here.
But I was just
Correct.
again, this is just for my personal library of images. Like
he was last episode. He was like, we were talking about if you walk in on it from head on, that you might not even like see his face or his dick because of his belly. Like he had a whole vision.
but like again, to paint the picture for myself, like whether or not he got naked for that act matters. If you're just like time to jerk off, I gotta get all my clothes
Yes.
off.
Okay.
That's
Oh, yeah,
a
yeah,
different
yeah.
thing. That
If you're getting
most
ready
of
to
the time,
shower
when
or
you're
after
jerking
the
off,
shower.
particularly when you're jerking off in the house with a bunch of guys, like that's like a fucking that's a hit and run. Like we're fully
that's
clothed.
a business transaction. You're not making love to yourself. That's like going
we're
to the
in,
bathroom.
we're out.
You're
But if
clearing the
you're-
pipes and you're
You're
Yeah.
taking off the clothes. You're like, I can only masturbate one way, and that's totally naked. That makes it a lot funnier.
at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
lunchtime, dude.
So, sure, I can give Mintzy the benefit of the doubt. I think by virtue of the fact that he did leave his door open, that to me feels maybe that he was showering or whatever.
Except it's Mintzy.
There you go.
That's the thing.
Nothing-
If it was
the
like
rules don't
me,
apply.
you, a normal person, it'd be like, oh, you would never do that. But like
Yeah.
normal rules, it's like I don't know. Maybe Mintzy just I didn't look at the door, fellas.
Yeah.
Like it just that's entirely on the table.
I was overcome with horniness, boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were in the house. When did you get voted out?
I think I was 13th or 14th.
So
I was like the
like
third
Clemmer,
member of the jury. So it was
you-
Clemmer, then Witt, and then me.
that's a squad.
So
That's
I was the
Mintzy
third
first.
person.
Fourth.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Mintzy, Clemmer, Witt, me, then Roan, and so then it started getting really fun.
Yeah, because then you have like
'Cause,
your own
like,
team.
we're-
That
we-
should have been its own reality show, to be honest.
I know. We
They should
had
have filmed that separately.
so much fun in the house.
Yeah.
Because we were like, not me so much. I don't feel like I have the power to do this, but some of the bigger, contributors to the company were just like, I'm fucking punishing Barstool for getting me out. Company card. We're getting, ordering like sushi and fucking ice cream. Just,
I'm gonna get my
Uber Eats.
$250,000 right
Yeah,
here.
just
Wagyu beef, let's
hammering
go.
it. Budget for this show, we're still part of it. Like, this is sponsored up the moon. So, we were just having a ball, and we also we were able to watch the eliminations. So every time someone would get eliminated, we would
You're like, "Yeah, you
we
covered
would
it."
want people that we were rooting for to stay in the game, but then when we also had people we wanted in the house.
Yeah.
And so then it was like, who do we want next? Like, we would love for Will, and like Will gets voted out. We're like, yeah. And every time someone would come through the door, we'd like clap and cheer and embrace them. Welcome, it's like welcoming your boys to heaven when they've died.
The party's
so,
here. What's crazy is none of the girls, right? That
have
house
been
is just
eliminated
guys.
yet. Yeah.
I remember thinking, I wanted no part. And seeing it now, it seems pretty normal. But I was like, I would not want any part of playing this with the girls. Because I don't want to be on, I don't want to devote them. I don't want to backstab. But it seems to be pretty normal. But the fact that they all lasted as far as they have before all you guys.
Yeah.
Patriarchy. See you later.
No, I know.
Wait, why didn't some of the first guys like Arian, White Sox Dave, why weren't they in?
Because the first 8 people that were voted out were not part of the jury. The
I
jury's
think it's
Gotcha.
only.
Oh,
It's
okay.
usually like only that many
I missed
people. I
that.
think having a huge jury.
yeah.
I think it would be like you could get so many votes per.
And also, it's
You
like,
have like a
you
5-way
needed.
tie with that many people voting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You needed to be farther in the game, I
Yeah,
think, to
yeah.
sort of like earn the right to have a say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We had all, at that point, whatever some of the finalists, it's likely that one of the finalists will have had a hand in fucking you over or
Right.
like trying to protect you, which might influence your vote.
decision,
Whereas like
yeah.
the first 5 or 10 people out,
It doesn't. It was just
it's just kind of like.
Today's episode of KFC Radio is brought to you by Gametime. We love live events. Whether it's a concert, a football game, a comedy show, Broadway. Basically, the only reason I'm going out of my house anymore is work, my kids, or live events from Gametime. They're the only service I use, the only service Barstool uses, the only service you should use because it gets you the best tickets at the best available prices. And right now, they have incredible deals using their Gametime Picks feature, which weeds out all of the bullshit. Any of the too expensive tickets, any of the overpriced tickets, any of the nosebleed seats. If you want good tickets at available prices, GT Picks will put it all in one spot so you don't have to sit there and sift through every single ticket on the secondary market. All you got to do is download the Gametime app, click GT Picks at the top, and then it will feed you all of the best seats available for your favorite comedy show, the next special from your favorite comic or podcast. If you're going to the NBA, if you're doing NFL playoffs, if you're any which way you want to get in the building for a live event, Gametime has got you covered. So download Gametime today. Use promo code KFC to easily score great deals with the new Gametime picks. What time is it? Gametime! Woo!
Now, the contract.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that was coincidence?
I
So
again,
for people who don't know,
I just
when Francis got voted out, like minutes later,
dude.
as I understand, like 7 minutes
this
later.
is how it went. So this is how it went. My contract expired on September 15th. I had been asking Dave for some weeks,
You don't
gently,
say.
like, look, I'm not asking for a raise or anything. I just want to keep
contract,
working here. Like, I hope that's okay. And
Can I keep coming to my job?
yeah, and he had asked me to do Surviving, which was taping in the first week of October. So I was like, I feel like I still work here. You're asking me to commit to a pretty gigantic project once my contract is expired, but nothing came before the show. So I went into the show floating in the wind.
Wow.
Just an at-will employee with no real job security. And, I think that I'm in a special place too, where job security is something I take more seriously than a lot. I've been fired. I'm one of the few people who've been fired. And, it's really important to me to have job security.
Yeah.
So I went into the game and was just like, okay, yeah, I have no job security. I don't even.
So I'm gonna give the boss an idol.
Yeah. I'm just like floating here. And also, more importantly, I was like, I don't really want to cross Dave.
So that was really in your mind while you're playing.
100%.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is like it just is naturally. It is a thing. Like,
But with that said, I'm a bit of a mischief maker.
Yeah.
I tend to want
chaos
to make things happen.
Yeah.
And what they didn't show when I pitched to Roan that we should vote for Dave was that, because we were like, well, he was like, let's just go along. They're telling us to vote for Mubi. Let's do it. And I was like, I'm kind of bored. I was like, I kind of want something to do something. Like, shouldn't we do something?
Well, I mean, the way the game is played out, I was saying this to the gang earlier. Like, it's only twice now, but it feels like more. It's like, vote that dude out first every time.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that he's rich and no one's going to vote for him in the end and all that shit. He has too much power. There's too many weird dynamics. He's too good at this shit and he has too many people his back. Just vote him out first and none of this matters anymore.
Yeah. I mean, everything is so obvious in hindsight. But to that point, in the first season he got voted out pretty early.
He did, but not even for my I mean, it should be like everyone is just like, we'll vote this guy out, and then the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
It's like letting it's like letting LeBron play. It's just like, no, just get him out, and then we can deal with it. You know what I mean?
But it's also one of those things where our team was pretty much coalescing around him. And
yeah, it is.
You wanted to be in the in and not part of the out.
It's easy to say because I remember in my season we were in different tribes, so I probably would have pushed for it if I could have in the right time. But I also, if it was like, you'll be on the outs if you say that, I get it. It's much easier to say.
Fomenting a coup is terrifying.
Yeah,
and that's
you
what
better get it right.
It's what it would have been because it's like you're whispering to people that you don't know that well. And being like, should we take Dave?
Boss.
And the likelihood that one of them will go to Dave and be like, these people are talking about taking you out is, I think, higher with someone like Dave than, someone else. Mm-hmm. It's more likely that they will try to curry favor with Dave by letting him know people are talking about turning on him than someone else.
Right.
So you don't end up, you're like, let's just play it safe.
Well, John had a tweet about Rico because you giving your idol was at least a play.
Well,
Rico,
I also had tried to get Dave out. I had pitched the idea that we should vote him out.
But also you giving it was like it
was cooked,
it wouldn't have worked.
And I knew I was cooked.
Right, so it was a Hail Mary play.
Yeah.
But
did Roan come up with it first or you? When you know how you guys had talked about like, let's get Dave out.
I said to Roan we should do it.
Okay.
And he agreed. He was like, cool, let's do it. And then he told me we need to turn Mubi.
Yeah.
And he told me don't tell Rhea. And I did not take that to heart.
I should have listened to that one. Yeah.
I thought we needed like 4 for some reason, and I thought I needed to go try to convince Rhea, and he was going to.
By the way, though, I don't think you're convincing Mubi because of all the aforementioned stuff.
Of course.
So
we weren't going to convince either of them.
Yeah.
And so we were both fucked no matter what. There was no way out. The only way that Roan or I survived past where we got out is if we had gone back earlier in the game, talked to Wit.
Yeah.
And we might have even
if you went to those guys and all said, fuck Dave, let's go, I think you could have got something done.
Yeah. You needed to sniff it out so early. It would have needed to be probably go back to like Clemmer, maybe White Sox Dave, maybe even Arian. You go back to the beginning of the game. I don't know how far, because Clemmer, if I had told Clemmer, like, dude, this is what's going to happen, and we need to get Dave out. Clemmer thought he was part of Dave's
that was so
troop.
funny. The pizza,
so he would have gone to Dave and told him, and then we would have been fucked.
Right.
So, that's how dangerous it was.
But John tweeted about Rico, like, I don't think Rico realizes he's not actually in the mafia, which is true.
But a lot of times.
But also, it's this weird little blog mafia. It's not the mafia. You don't have to, but everybody. Like, if you went to Dave and said, like you can vote out Dave. It happens. You can yell at Dave. You can talk shit about him. That's why he's always like, I don't know, like they bend the knee to me, but I don't like tell them they have to. I just behave in a way that everybody does. But it's like he's not. If the game is not rigged, but the game is rigged because they're all pussies, but not because Dave is like telling you have to.
Someone said, this is why Dave shouldn't be in the game. And I'm like, this is exactly why Dave should be in the game.
It makes it interesting,
It
sucks for the people in it, but for the viewers.
He had one of my favorite lines in the show, and I forget exactly what episode it was because I missed a few, but it was like he was walking upstairs, and he was kind of like talking about how he's like mad he's still playing. And he says something like, I got to get so-and-so out. He's like, he just goes, so I can get these people to give me back my money at the end of this.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You don't get that dynamic without the boss in
the
there.
The camera was just behind him, and he was like, you could see from his face, like, so I can get these people to give me back my money.
Dude, it is such a strange dynamic to be in that game with Dave, and especially to be on his team.
Yeah.
Because my relationship with Dave is one, for me, of like respect, fear, and trying to limit my correspondence with him as much as possible.
Stay off the radar.
I don't work with him. I don't have content with Dave. So I don't want to rock the boat. 90% of the interactions I've had with Dave have been because there is a catastrophe. Like, I routinely delete my texts with Dave because when I have to text him, I don't want to see that the last text was like, we need to talk. Are you sitting down? I'm not even making any of this up. I've never had like a happy birthday, Francis.
And you never will, bro.
Like, hey, are you available for this on this day? It's like, we need to talk. Call me immediately. Do not pass go.
Dave's refusal to say happy birthday is one of his more perplexing things. It's like, it's one thing, like, I'm not a big birthday guy. I don't I'm not randomly texting people happy birthday and shit like that. But if I'm in a room with someone and someone goes, hey, do you know it's his birthday? I go, oh shit, happy birthday, man.
He won't do it.
He won't do it.
Yeah. It's like he doesn't believe in it. It's like to his core, he's against birthdays.
It's like,
which actually tracks. Like that checks out. Like I could just see him being like, you don't deserve anything for living. You know what I mean? Like
he's literally
so based on
exactly
like
that.
meritocracy.
It's just conversation, man.
No, just be normal, bro. That's so funny, dude.
So
I think there's three levels to Dave. The best thing you can have is to be like, and there's very few people, but like anybody who he aligns with usually thinks that like he's invested. I found them, or Alex Cooper's, or even like the movie where it's like I like you, I'm connected to you. Mm-hmm. Then there is stay off the radar, and then at 5 million notches lower is like Rico, where it's like I'm involved with him every day, but he doesn't respect me or like me, and wants to make me the fool for content.
Yeah, Smitty.
And so if you can't be the top one, just be the middle one, where it's like we don't even talk.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I guess so you're probably in between Rico and that, where it's like I have to talk to him because there's bad luck all the time for me.
Yeah.
You just have the worst fucking luck. Dude.
I mean, having to tell him, hey, just so you know, me trashing Fox News just leaked on a hot mic.
Great one.
I don't know what
Great
to say.
one.
Like,
That was a great moment I forgot about.
pretty tight with them over there.
Yeah.
So.
Did you talk to him about that?
Yeah, I had to tell him. But that was one where I was like,
That was also not your fault.
this is
like,
one. It kind of is. You
No,
can
but like that's
don't have that conversation when there's a microphone on your body.
Sure.
No matter what.
Sure.
I need to know better.
Sure.
But at the same time, whatever. So those types of things. But what I was going to say is that to then be in this weird kind of curated environment where there's a very specific goal. And there's rules, and we're sleeping in barracks together. We all moved our mattresses, but like, you're waking up, you're brushing your teeth. You're kind of like, you're not talking about the job.
Yeah.
You're not even thinking about it. It's all just this.
Game.
It's
Yeah.
strategy, and having like peer-to-peer conversations with Dave Portnoy about like, next, I think we should do this. This person's saying this, like,
Yeah, that's weird.
and you realize. Well, it's just like a very surreal removal of a pecking order.
Yeah.
But it still does exist in your mind.
It's a little bit removed, but it's still there.
But like, it's one of those things where I've never had such offhand conversations with Dave in my life. Everything up to that point has been either like very formal, very concise, and very limited and careful. And even after the game, when they were airing the show, there was this moment where I told Big Cat that I had the idol, and then I told Dave, and they didn't show the longer conversation. And I wrote a long blog about why I did that, because it looks really stupid the way that they edited it. But the reason I told both of them was because someone went through my bag, and then the next morning Big Cat was like, I know you have an idol. And he claims he was just doing it to sort of
Smoke you out.
Smoke me out. But he didn't do it to anyone else in the game, and I was the only person in the game at that point who had an idol.
Do you think he did it, or do you think he had
I don't
somebody
think
do
he
it?
went through it. I still don't know. I don't really know what happened, but I'm certain someone went through my bag because the things were all in different places, and my toilet kit was open, which is where the idol was.
That's
Were there cameras
crazy.
on?
I remember
No.
that happened during our season.
People are allowed to do that, apparently, by the way.
That,
which I
Pomazone
didn't
went
know.
through my bag.
That's crazy.
Because I remember I went to Rob afterwards, because same type deal as you. Like, it was my bag. I had personal shit in it. And I just went to Rob and I was like, yo, if they like held this in front of the camera, can you just like cut that?
Yeah.
Like,
People have medication. People have all sorts of shit that it's like.
I was like, I don't know what they did, but and he was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I remember
I think that should
Which-
be off limits, but
I think
guess-
it was Rico,
Yeah.
so I think it was Rico and your.
It
time,
could well
too.
have been. Yeah. Rob, would you mind cutting the fact that I perched my idol around this 17-inch dildo? It's just personal to me. It's my
Do you now realize how crazy it was to think that idol was disappearing when you gave it to Dave?
Well, let me get to that, because just to finish this thought, because I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
When I wrote that blog, being like, look, there was more to why I told them this.
And Dave said as much. He was like,
Dave
I don't know why.
texted me and was like, I read your blog. I had the exact same thought. I don't know why they cut that. That seemed important to me. And I was like, oh.
This is the best interaction I've ever had.
I'm like, okay, do I need to call you right now? Like, what next? And then he sent me like 9 texts, and we were going back and forth just talking about the game. And I was like, this is more messages than you have sent to me or we have sent to each other in the 7 years that I've known you.
Yep.
Through
I've been doing a little bit
firings.
of that. I've been sending you messages like, boy, Rico's dumb. And you just get a couple in with the boss.
Yeah.
Because it's like you got to pick your spots where you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could also be like, hey, great bet, Dave. Like,
Yeah.
the things that you know he'll respond to and like whatever.
Yeah.
I think I honestly I think that's my last text to Dave.
Yeah.
The Caitlin Clark bet. I was like, this is the most genius bet of all time, and I genuinely meant it. I was
Yeah.
like, I thought for sure they were going to win it. I was like, you're going to win $1 million.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Right. But yeah, you're right. It's like when. But what's funny is like I don't think he. I think he knows he's the boss, and he knows that there's like a weird power dynamic because he does things that like he used to not come to like the Christmas party and stuff like that because he's like, I know I'm the boss and I know people don't want me around. So he does acknowledge it, but also for the most part, he's like, yeah, I mean, I'll text Francis about Survivor. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like it's not like he's like, I don't talk to them because I'm the boss and they're the underlings. He's just like, I'll talk to you when I talk to you. If I like you, I like you. No, I don't. So it's just he's naturally like a imposing and intimidating guy. So but he's not like trying to do that.
No, I know. Look, Dave has, for me, and I think this is true for a lot of people who work here, he's a figure of, as I said, respect, gratitude, and fear. That's like the three-pronged feelings that I have.
A mixture for the exact opposite of what you're supposed to be doing when you're competing. Like,
yeah, but it's also like it's a leadership style that I think has worked forever. Like Steve Jobs was the same way. Elon Musk is the same way. Like, a lot of the people that work for them are like, yeah, I was afraid of them to a degree, but they also pushed me to achieve things that I didn't think I could, and I revere my leader.
Right.
And that's definitely true for me and Dave now. I think the first time I worked here, I wasn't quite so tuned into that, and people sensed it, and it made me dispensable. But now, so my point being that familiarity and the fact that he's so invested personally in the game, and cares so much about it and cares so much about the show and loves it to such a degree that it does kind of bring him down into the
fray a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, the garrison a little bit and make him just another soldier in that mix.
It's literally like in Squid Games when the billionaire at the end it like reveals that he had just put himself in the game.
Yeah, just to feel something,
Yeah.
As much as I would have loved to see, obviously myself or Feidelberg win last year. A couple people on the cast this year that I would have loved to have seen this to go on to win this one. But I wanted Jackie to win her season so bad.
Were you season 1?
2.
It was not what it is now, but
God,
I was
that was
watching
so
that
fun.
like it was Shay out there. Like
Dude.
when you fell off that post, the stump. She stood for like literally like one more second, right? Weren't you like? Wasn't it like boom boom? Or no, you were like they told you couldn't put your foot on the side or something.
Oh,
like that,
yeah,
right?
I got fucked
You got
because-
fucked on that
yeah.
one, and I remember being like, no.
Yeah.
Dude, you would
You
come
were
into
so close to winning that.
You would come into the studio, and I would be like, I don't know what is wrong with this woman.
You were a bastard.
Yeah, you would just be like,
And that was when it was
rambling
like-
words.
And
like
I was
it's-
22. I was movies age.
That is true. That is true. You
Like,
were
if
thrown to
so-and-so's
the
working
fire.
with so-and-so, and so-and-so does that, and I was like, what is this chick talking
What was that
about?
cast? You, Grace, Nick, Bree,
No, me,
Dave?
Grace, Rudy,
Rudy.
Dave. No, not Dave. Che, Eddie.
Oh, so Nick and Bree were the first one, right?
Yeah.
That was season 1.
Yeah, that was
right.
season one.
What a great
yeah.
It's been a great show. It's been a great run.
The NFL playoffs are here. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? That's a pretty good Jim Moore, let's be honest. Playoffs! We can all kind of do it, but I kind of nailed that one. Playoffs! We're talking playoffs at DraftKings, where scoring touchdowns is king. It's key to winning in the NFL playoffs, and it's the key to you betting on them and winning money. It's the number one place to bet touchdowns is DraftKings. If you're ready to place your first bet, try betting on something simple like who's going to score 6. Or you can go to the Sportsbook app right now and pick all the different lines, all the different bets, all the different props. They've got you covered. So score big during the NFL playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use promo code KFC, bet $5 and instantly get $200 in bonus bets. Just $5 bet, get $200 in bonus bets only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. That's DraftKings Sportsbook, promo code KFC.
But so, okay, if you give someone an idol,
Look,
it's their idol.
you watch Survivor?
Yeah.
So I don't. I think
But
it's that simple.
I shouldn't say that because like I'm not like some super fan.
I don't think it matters. I have never
think
watched a minute of Survivor.
But I think it's logical to think if you give the idol to someone, it becomes their idol.
Look,
Because then
again,
if I
it's-
gave it to you,
it's one of
in
those things I
round-
get now. But like
But
in
that's
that
like,
moment,
like that's just a thing. Even if you've never played anything,
but
it's
like
this-
you're
they have it.
applying, fine print Survivor rule.
No, I don't think that's what I'm saying. I think if something is in play in a game and I give it to somebody and then I'm out of the game, they get that thing. Because what would happen if I gave it to you hours earlier?
Then let me
and then I
play
get
this.
voted out?
Then
You know
let me
what I
play.
mean?
This is where it gets complicated. There's two pieces that I think poke holes in what you just said. The first is I ask Jeff for a rule of clarification. and I say like, he knows what I've said, which is I'm going to give this to Dave, but if I get voted out of the game, it's dead. Right? That's the whole scenario.
Yeah.
And then Dave's
he
like,
answers your question
Dave,
literally.
to the point where Dave gets up and doesn't take it because he thinks, well, what's the point in this?
But I think he thought that you just weren't going to do it. Because when he turns back around, he's like, are you going to give it to me? I'll take it.
Maybe. No, because then I was like, oh, he's not going to take it.
Right, but I think that was more because when you said that, I think that's when he was like, oh, I mean, I will if you'll do it. But I think he thought you weren't going to do it.
Who can say?
But I just go ahead.
But then I say to Jeff, just to clarify, like if I give this to Dave and I get voted out of the game, it dies with me. If I get voted out of the game, it dies with me. And Jeff goes, yes, if you get voted out of the game, it dies with you. Correct.
I know, but I think,
and it's like,
but you didn't say the thing. You said if I get voted out, this dies. You didn't say
but
like
with the context of everything I said.
But that's not his job. You know what I mean?
But like then
giving answering questions beyond what is asked based on context, I think is like.
I don't know what to tell you other than the entire internet agreed with me except for fucking nerds.
Well,
so
but
if you take a normal human discourse interpretation of that situation,
I don't think so though, because I think the people that agreed with you hate Jeff D'Lo, which I think is crazy by the way.
I don't agree.
People
with that.
hate Jeff for the dozen and stuff, and they don't want Dave. It's like Dave haters and Jeff haters. I think a lot of that.
I don't know if that's the whole reason why people.
I don't think the whole reason, but I do think that
or like took it my way too.
Because a lot of that was like Jeff did a bad job. Jeff did a bad job.
But here's where. But then okay, so we are applying by the book Survivor rule, Jeff's wording precisely to that exact second. That's the rule. That's why that's right. According to Survivor rules, I'm not allowed to give an idol to anyone once votes have been cast.
That was a whole different story.
So we are applying Survivor rules in 1 second, and then in the next, completely disregarding them.
Although somebody was saying that if it was a revote, that is allowed or something. Yeah, okay.
Not
allowed. Then that's a legitimate.
So it's like, okay, in one case we said, yep, Survivor rules, and then 5 seconds later we were like, no rules, and that's because it was Dave. Yeah. I guarantee you that if I had properly understood Jeff and I had said, okay, I know I'm about to be cooked. Roan's my boy. Roan, here's my idol to use whenever you want. Everybody sitting on those stumps would have been like,
no,
absolutely
fucking
not.
Agreed.
There's no chance that's
100%.
allowed.
That's very
100%.
So it's like, what's the difference?
And that's where like it sucks for a competitor, and for a viewer, it's like, oh, fucking this is gonna be crazy.
Ultimately, I'm happy with how it went because 1, it created a spark moment. Mm-hmm. 2, created discussion and discourse.
And most people were on your side, like you said.
Either way, like when I had the moment with Kirk in the golf, like half the world was on my side and half was on the other.
You find a way, bro. You always find. I think there was a Boy Dad clip, right, where you guys were talking. You just find a way into your. Like you're causing controversy.
It's good though.
Yeah,
I like
of course.
it.
It's fucking great.
I like to find.
I mean, it's great for business.
It's hard. I don't know when they're going to happen.
Yeah.
But to find that very middle line where people are going to marshal on either side and have it out.
Well, that's where. So we were just talking to Marty before about last week. We were talking about overexposure on the internet, and that can very much happen. But you also, if you go out there every day. Because you don't know when it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But it's like, maybe it's today. Maybe I'm going to, have an incident at the grocery store and I'm going to go viral. But if you're like, I don't want to go out, I don't want to put too much out there, you're never going to have those moments.
Correct.
You do a good, you got to keep swinging.
Yeah. And
I mean, then when you just go like, I'm going to block people on the shoulder, I think you know what I mean? Like, that's an active.
I mean, that's another one where I shot that and didn't even think I was going to post it. I thought maybe I would post it as a story.
Right.
And then I was like, I haven't posted in a while. Let's just fucking, who cares? Let's just throw it up.
And you started a race war.
I would never have imagined in a million years that, first of all, there would be so many people that would be angry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you think like everyone's going to agree with me on this one.
Yeah. Or like I would expect that there would be a lot of people who would laugh, but also be like, it does annoy me that people do that. I don't want to stop them myself, but like,
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be so many people being like, mind your fucking business.
I don't know where either of the sides get so passionate about it. 'Cause I like never run into this.
You don't ever sit in traffic and see people whizzing by on the shoulder?
I mean, it's part of that fact that I live in Manhattan. I don't have a car.
You're not
Sure.
often in a
But
car.
but like in all of my years when I did drive often, it was a very, very, very rare thing.
Well,
Like,
it depends
if-
on where you live.
If I've ever
It
noticed
is a
really.
funny thing. I think this about all traffic laws are very funny. When like I always think it's hilarious if it's like late at night, no one's on the road, literally you can't see any cars. You will stop because this thing is lit up red. That's just a very funny thing. That's like I'm just gonna fucking go.
Right.
But no, I'm gonna wait here for like 45 seconds because like there's rules. You know, it is kind of crazy where it's just like I could get home quicker. But there's this fucking thing painted on the ground, and so I'm not allowed to.
Dude, there's also
But there
signs
is
all along that
order.
shoulder that say "Do not drive on the shoulder." There's signs everywhere.
But it's like everyone, for the most part, buys into traffic laws, and if they didn't, it would be absolute fucking chaos.
Well, also-
and that's why like it should be that way. But it is funny that there's not more like I guess there's a decent amount of people, but I could see more people being like I don't fucking care that there's solid line painted on the ground. I'm going. You know?
Yeah. Well, the other thing
people are
that
assholes.
the other part I don't get is when people say, "Why does it affect you?" It
talked about this
obviously
just
affects
yesterday.
me. Every single one of those cars, there's no exit ramp that they're racing up to turn off the highway. They have to merge back in.
Yeah.
So every
It's
car that
stopping you.
goes by adds 1 minute, 2 minutes to my commute home. You see 30 cars go by, you're like, there's 45 more minutes that I have to sit.
You
in
see that
traffic.
many? That's crazy.
Bro, if you don't do what I do, because as soon as one person
They
breaks
all
the seal,
get emboldened,
they're like,
yeah.
fuck it, I wasn't the first person to break the rule, and it's a
Yeah.
flood. It's a flood.
Now, what do you, if there is an exit ramp?
there isn't, well,
But I'm saying hypothetically,
yeah, if all
what do you
those
think
people,
about that? Like, I think you can leave a little early.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
If you're not coming back in.
The problem with that is that people will pretend that they're going to take the exit, and then they're like, "Oh shoot, I didn't realize that I'm not
But
actually
GPS
going that way."
rerouted back
And then-
into this lane.
And then they clog all the people who actually are trying to use the
Yeah.
exit to go off, and they're trying to merge in at the top.
Now, what
I'm
do you,
an expert merger. I would put forth that I'm one of the best mergers in the world.
and give me a little more context.
Well,
here,
like in cut, I cut the
like,
line.
Okay. So let's just start there. If there's like an exit only, and the line is like 100 cars deep, I'm cutting the line.
I cut it, but I cut
Every
it
time.
smartly.
I always find a spot, and I think
Yeah.
I find a spot that I actually don't think impacts people.
I see what you're saying.
I
Like
look
there's
for a
some
big
jamoke
truck.
who always just kind of sits there on his phone or whatever for an extra second. There's an
No,
extra
it's
car
look
length.
for a big truck.
Truck.
It
Trucks,
takes,
trucks,
takes them
accelerate
longer
slowly.
to get slower.
Yes.
I'll jet it in front of one of
Totally.
them.
I don't have a problem with this either. I don't have a problem with that.
When I see people who are just like, I got to get off this exit in like a mile and a half, but this is the lane. Like, come on.
Yeah,
That's
no,
crazy.
I like choose it. Like, I'll go to the front, but like
You'll
I'll
get-
go
you'll
up
get-
a bit
you'll
and I'll be
closer.
like, I'll find a truck and I'm like, that guy's gonna go slow,
yeah.
and I'll slow
'Cause he's
down.
gotta
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah. But
I
there
was-
are. Sorry, Jackie. Go
No,
ahead.
no. Oh, I
We've
was
got to
gonna
let the
say-
woman talk.
No, sorry. I always noticed that I saw it happen more often in Northern California than Southern California, and I always wondered if it was because like people believe in karma more in Southern California.
yeah.
And everyone's like,
Hippie
oh, like,
shit.
rule whatever.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
that, and I wondered if that like has to do with more traffic in LA.
I think I don't know
Everyone's just an
Northern
asshole.
California versus Southern, but like I would think in more. Although Francis might be able to call me on this right away, but I would think in heavily trafficked areas, people are more like understanding of this is how society works. Whereas I would think in less trafficked areas, people are going, I'm doing
Yeah,
whatever the
where
fuck I
did yours
want.
happen?
You know where this does not happen at all? Texas.
Really? Okay, so that kind of goes. That's I'm wrong.
Nobody
you know
fucks
that?
around
that
in
came
Texas.
to mind when you said
Nobody
that.
in Dallas.
Well, you might get shot.
People obey. They obey the unwritten rules. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. They are fucking.
I just pictured Francis driving around, being like, "This is amazing,
Dude,
this law and order."
There's something, and it may very well be that everyone knows that everybody has a gun
Yeah,
in their
don't
glove
fuck around.
compartment, and
Yeah.
if you do something fucking wrong on the road, there's a vigilante,
Yeah.
policing. I don't know what it is, but they do not tolerate it.
Where did your big incident happen?
New York,
Where though?
coming into the tunnel
From
from New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay.
What is the tunnel?
Holland Tunnel?
The Holland. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Coming into the Holland Tunnel. That's always where it is.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
Because
that's a
there's a
nightmare.
bend that goes down the ramp, and then there's a traffic light. All that gets backed up,
yeah.
gets backed way up, and that shoulder is inviting. It's wide. It almost looks like a lane.
Yeah.
But it is the shoulder, and there are hundreds of signs that say do not drive on the
It's
shoulder.
one of those things like you need the shoulder for accident, but it's like there's no accident, so I'm just gonna take this lane. But
Yeah.
if you do it, you're a scumbag. It's just one of those
I
things.
have
you
a strong belief in doing that, and that people who use the shoulder to cut are wrong. And then anyone who has an issue with me stopping them is a shoulder cutter themselves. And if they try to invoke, you need to keep this clear for emergency vehicles, they are fucking full of shit. That's a smokescreen self-justification
Yes.
for your poor
Agreed.
behavior not to abide by the
That's some
unwritten
straw
rules.
man shit or whatever. Yeah. Yes.
It's bullshit. It's complete
Yeah, it's like
bullshit.
if I saw, and people are like, well, what if I was like rushing my pregnant wife to the hospital? It's like, if that was happening, we'd probably figure it out, and I'll let you go. But you're not a fucking ambulance.
Dude.
That's not happening. You're just a dickhead. I'm blocking you.
I can't tell you how many fucking DMs and comments I got that were like, just last week, my nephew who has a cashew allergy, I was rushing him to the hospital and someone tried to do this and my nephew's dead. It's like, no, he's not.
That did not happen.
No, he's not.
I would notice the other person in the car screaming.
Yeah, that way you get out.
Yeah.
Like,
If I'm an uncle with an asphyxiating nephew in the back of my car and I see some guy up ahead in a Tesla filming himself, I get out of the car and I'm like, hey, dude, you're about to kill my nephew. And I'd be like, sorry about that. I'll get out of your way, sir. That's not what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big race war, right?
Yeah. Yes. It was.
Did black people use the lane?
They were angry with me.
Let's say that.
And they were saying things like, this guy is the Karen who reminded the teacher to assign homework. And it's like, well, I didn't tell my teacher to remind the students about homework. I would write down that we had homework and let all the other kids forget to do it, which made me look better. Why would I ever have wanted them
Nah, you're an asshole.
to
You're
be
an
in
asshole.
line? That's how I rose to the top of the class.
It's a new year. It's time to get in shape. It's time to set goals. It's time to actually hit them. And the easiest way to do that is don't bite off more than you can chew. As a matter of fact, let's just sip it. Get yourself a Huel shake right now with 30 grams of protein. You don't want to dive in too deep if you're not working out, if you're not dieting already, if you're not healthy. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew. But Huel is a nice, easy way to ease into the new year and your fitness goals with their shakes that provide 30 grams of protein and are delicious to drink. All you got to do is sip on them. You get your daily intake of protein. You don't have to eat. You're not eating junk. And you're not putting too much strain on yourself where it's something that you can't keep up. You can drink a Huel a day forever until you are in the shape you want to be. It's a perfectly balanced meal that takes the guesswork out of healthy eating. There's no prep, there's no cooking. You just grab a Huel, boom, drink it, and that's your meal. It tastes amazing. It's like a milkshake. You have chocolate, vanilla, both of them low in sugar, and it's affordable, it's budget friendly, and you can keep doing them every single day. High protein meals under $5. So get 15% off on a free plus a free gift for new customers when you use promo code KFC15, KFC15 at Huel.com. It's like fuel, but with an H. If I can do it and I'm drinking these and I like them and I'm on board, literally anybody can do it. So go to Huel.com, promo code KFC15 to get 15% off your Huel order plus a free gift for new customers.
You said job security is a big deal. I feel like I heard recently that Dave gave you the made man, right? He said
Unnamed, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was the first I'd heard. So that was an interesting moment because, to go back to the question you had about getting the new contract when I got voted off, I hand Dave the idol. I'd been asking for it, and then.
Oh wait, you never answered that question.
Right. So you got to go back to. When I was getting divorced in June, and I texted Dave, as I do, just life crisis moment. I gotta talk to my boss. Texting Dave, hey, do you have a second?
You should delete his number, dog.
I need to call you. And he calls me, and he's like, what's up? And I'm like, I always know to be very quick, get right into it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, here's what's happening. Unfortunately, my wife and I are getting divorced. I have to move out, and I don't know. I have 2.5, 3 months left on my contract. And I was like, I don't know if, you want me to remain here. but I have to sign a new lease. I don't know if you're not going to keep me working here, it makes me wonder if I should remain in New York City.
Right.
Where to live, whether
How
I
much,
should,
whatever,
all
yeah.
these things. And like, I know it's way ahead of the time that this would typically happen, but I unfortunately need some clarity in my life because there's some big life decisions happening.
Mm-hmm.
And he was amazing. He was like, oh, wow. First of all, I'm really sorry to hear that. But yeah, we totally expect, to keep you on. You're doing well. Like, no issues at all. The only thing that would change that would be if you asked for some crazy raise or something. And then immediately I was like, I don't need a raise at all. Like, I'll just want to keep working
staying
here.
Yeah.
And he was like, then yeah, we should be totally good. So that was.
But the phrasing on unnamed was job. For
Yeah.
life.
So that was how that conversation went, which made me feel really good. And was really important at that moment.
It made me feel good. I was like, if Francis is good for life, I think I'm good for life too.
Yeah. I just thought, yeah. So then, then like September rolls around and I don't have anything. And I went into it. He came in one day and I just knocked on his door and I was like, hey, just want to check in about contract. Like, do you need to see or hear what I do? Like, do you want me to present my statistics and kind of assignments and things? And he was like, nope, all good. And I'm like, okay, all good. And that didn't give me much. So I felt confident I was going to get renewed, but like,
It wasn't
not
happening.
not that confident.
Right.
And then I went into the game. I got voted out. Keep in mind, I've been asking for this now for like months. I get voted. I hand Dave the idol. I walk off the set. They give me back my phone. I go into my email,
This is great.
refresh my email, and the first email at the top of my inbox is my brand new contract.
I mean, come on. Come on.
And
Is it from Dave or is it from HR?
no, it's from HR.
It's from Dave.
Yeah. So,
That's amazing, dude.
it's a fucking hysterical coincidence if
Is
that's
that
what
what
it
it
is. I love the idea that Dave just had someone on text and been like, send it.
Yeah. Green
I
button.
love
Like,
that
turn your key.
idea.
Turn your key.
But, I don't really care how it got there.
no.
I was
Hell
just
no.
happy to have the new contract. And then Dave on Unnamed, sort of they addressed this. And he said that, look, I didn't tell anyone this, but back in June, Francis called me. We had the conversation about his divorce. And I told him, you've got a contract.
He was
for
smirking,
life.
though. He was doing his Dave. He goes, no. When Dave's doing that.
It's great. It's classic Barstool thing. It's just like one of those what really was going on things.
You
And
never know.
just hysterical, but very happy to have another 2 years here. So,
Well,
yeah.
I think between Boy Dad and then, I feel like when golf season comes around,
Yeah.
that's like, I never thought about it as in that regard of like when the weather turns, your job and their jobs change. I mean, they go all year round, but it's like
they're not beholden to the weather.
Right.
Dude,
They
that
go.
video of Frankie's flights, did you see that?
Crazy.
Yeah,
That was
crazy.
Dude,
crazy.
you guys cannot
You
even
gotta
imagine
love fucking golf. The way
how
I mean,
much
like,
will they travel. It is preposterous.
I don't think I love anything enough to do. Like I'd be like,
I don't even
I
know-
want to get on that plane.
I honestly want to text Riggs and be like, how do you still like this?
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, Riggs
but-
hit
but- but-
100 flights last year.
Really?
Or maybe it was 2 years ago. I think Frankie had like 84, which I thought was a lot. I had 64, which I thought was a ton.
yeah, that's crazy.
more than 2 a week.
Do you guys just have
That's
monster
crazy.
points, or does that not go through?
Oh,
people?
yeah. I hit diamond
Yeah.
in May.
Yeah.
I hit
That's
the
pretty
highest
cool.
status in May. You think like, cool. And then you're
You
like,
get like one ticket to like San Antonio and you're done.
yeah, 4 global upgrade certificates and unlimited access to the Sky Lounge.
I'm an anti-lounge guy. I know you're a big lounge guy.
$700
Not me.
statement credit on my Delta Amex Reserve card. I chose my choice benefits. Once you achieve platinum, you get 1, and then if you get diamond, you get 3 on top of that. So. Now, there is a hidden tier above that, Delta 360, which some people argue doesn't even exist. I have seen it. And someone once offered me their own bag tags from the previous year, and I was like, I don't want to have stolen valor here. But they say that if you have Delta 360 tags on your bag, that someone comes with white gloves and takes it off the plane itself and brings it to you in a chariot. But
Have you ever heard that story that Jerry Seinfeld invented the black card?
I
No.
did hear that.
Yeah, I guess not invented it, but he he was like talking to someone at American Express, and they said, "Have you heard of the black card?" And like the next day, he called the head of American Express and was like, "What's this black card? I want it." And he was like, "It's just a rumor. This is not a real thing." And he was like, "I want a fucking black card." And they gave it to him, and I think he was the first one to have it, and then it became a thing.
I heard the black card you have to pay off in full every month. Is that true?
I'd imagine a lot of people, anyone who has a black card, isn't like carrying a lot of.
But that's also like not the business of credit cards, so like,
Right.
they don't want that usually. You know, they want you to carry it for a few months and then pay the interest or whatever. But like,
Also, real quick, I paid off my credit card debt.
Hey!
that's what that
Oh,
bonus
there we
one.
go.
Huh?
What?
Fantastic.
Bonus one right to it.
Bunny went right to it. And that was it. That was all of it.
I was gonna say about $4,000. $10,000 is about $4,000.
It wasn't all of it, but yeah.
That feels good.
Hey, it's
Nice.
not sexy, but you know what? You'll feel better.
I really
debt
wish I
free.
still had that money, like to
Okay.
buy clothes and shit.
But just put it back on your credit card now.
Yeah.
I know.
That's the cycle. About a year from now, you get another $10,000. Keep it going forever. But yeah, so golf, you'll. I just feel like every season that it gets warm, you'll just be like more and more entrenched with foreplay, which let me tell you is a good idea.
Yeah, listen.
I wish I golf every fucking day of my life. I'm like, I wish I golfed and gambled.
I love going with those guys. It's so much fun. They've been doing it so much longer. They built the whole thing. And I think one of the reasons that they enjoy having me is that when I'm with them, I remind them how awesome it is.
Yeah.
Like when we're at a dinner, I'm always like, everyone's kind of like tired looking at their phones. And I just like raise a glass and I'm like,
This is life.
I just want to say, guys, we're in Hawaii eating a steak dinner that's free.
Yeah.
And we have, 36 holes of awesome golf for tomorrow that's free.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking sick.
They boondoggled their way to like
Yeah.
a real.
The boondoggle. I remember that those fights they used to have.
I mean, it
More
is
like-
a boondoggle, but then once you start making the company,
Dude, in
in the very beginning, it's a boondoggle. Now
it's also work.
yeah,
It is
for sure,
not
sure.
like going on a golf trip with
No.
your boys.
No.
A 9-hole scramble takes 5.5 hours. You're getting smoked by the sun.
Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting. Sometimes when we do those like drinking challenges, do you really want to be shotgunning a beer a hole in the Dominican Republic? No.
Yes.
It's not that fun.
Because there are people
Absolutely.
screaming from their desks right now. Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Sometimes it's fun. It is fun. It is overall very fun, but it's also
There's a
like,
difference between hard and not fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do what they do, but it is fun.
It is fun. It's more fun than any job I've ever had or could have,
Yeah.
as far as I can tell. But to just say this is a bachelor party that they're perpetually on
Yeah.
is misleading.
Right.
But also, let's even say that, like, if you told me like you could go on a bachelor party every weekend, I'd be like, hell fucking no. Right. I do that, once every couple years, and I get my fill, and I'm done. If you
Yep.
told me to do it the next weekend, I'd be like, no.
Right.
So I get that. I
Right.
understand that. If you
Yeah.
had to pick one, boy, dad, or foreplay,
Oh my God.
fucking Sophie's choice. Let's go.
Oh, that's tough. I mean, there's a different answer for both. I think that if you were to say like where would I see the potential for me to ask Dave for like a bigger raise or more financial security, it's probably foreplay. But as far as like lifestyle and what I'm looking for right now and the thing that I guess enables me to remain the comedian I am and feed that and find bits, it's bantering with Ron and Sass and
It's a great mix.
yeah.
It's a,
I love it. I love doing both.
dude,
I love
that whole thing with Sass and the kettlebell was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Dude, he is
when you were like
an
it was
alien.
it was like Mandelbaum in Jerry Seinfeld. He's like, I just want to go carry it to work and show you how easy this is.
He is such an alien. The way that he convinces himself so obstinately about what he can or cannot do, what is physically capable by the laws of the universe, where he's completely wrong.
You would have thought that kettlebell was 1,000 pounds.
Wait, what was it?
He picked it up. Or no, Roan. Yeah, you tell it. I don't remember.
he
But it
got
was like got a Joe Rogan kettlebell.
55-pound kettlebell, and it was delivered to his building, which has been, the target of frequent package theft. Like all the time, all the packages gets dropped in. There's no doorman. It's just in the foyer of his thing, and people steal the packages all the time.
That's some unwritten rule shit too. If you do that, that happens a lot in New York. You are a fucking scumbag.
Yeah. That I actually think it's worse if you do it in like the suburbs around Christmas.
Yeah,
Because you're stealing some
Horse
toy
Or these
from a
fucking like
child.
Amazon people who like take a picture like they delivered it and then just take it. It's like, you
Dude,
are
I had
trash.
the opposite of that happen once, where it's still weirdly one of my favorite things that ever happened to me, is when we had an advertisement. This is probably 5-7 years ago with Butcher Box, and they just mailed it to me without ever telling me that I was getting meat. So I wasn't checking the box. I wasn't checking the mail. I wasn't expecting mail. So every day I'd walk into the apartment and I'd walk by a pile of boxes, go to my apartment, and like this went on for a week or so, and then one day I opened the door of my apartment and there's like Martin Luther style, like slammed into the door. It just says, "You have a box of rotting meat in the foyer." and I was like, oh, and I went downstairs and like I could smell it every night when I came in. I could smell it. I knew there was rotting meat. I
Whose
didn't think
meat is that? I wonder who's leaving their meat out.
I had to go and dispose of a box
That
of
what you just
legitimately
said
rancid meat.
was literally straight out of a Sunny script. Like Charlie being like, "I know it's rotting meat." Like, yeah, it's rotting meat. I could tell.
Do you smell it? Yeah, I smell it. I walk by it every fucking day. I just didn't think it
do
was
anything
mine.
about it. No, it's not my meat. It is your meat.
I didn't order a box of meat. Why would I think the stinking box of meat was
Box of
mine?
meat.
That's great. But yeah, so the kettlebell is there, and he
Yeah,
like,
so it's in there. It's in the foyer, and Sass just is like, nothing can be done. But he brought it up to his apartment.
But he needs to bring it to work. Is the thing? Or
Yeah,
like,
he needed to bring it to the office.
Right,
But he brought it and carried it from his foyer up because he knew. No, excuse me, that's wrong. He was away, and so he asked
Roan to pick it up, right.
to go to his apartment
Yes.
and bring it from his foyer into his apartment, which Roan did.
Does he have an elevator?
No, but he's on the second floor.
Okay.
So he just
It's
walked
still
up.
a bit of an ask to be like, "Can you go to my apartment,
Oh, it's
pick
a
up
huge
this 60-pound
ask.
thing, and just put it in my door"? That's an ask.
So then Sass, we're like, "Yo, do you know, can you get that to the office?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he gets to his apartment, lifts it, and just decides like,
It's
this can't be done. This will be here forever. And he had initially told us that he couldn't bring it because he didn't think he could walk it to work and needed to bring it in an Uber. And then,
which is fair, by the way. I wouldn't
Totally.
walk at
Yeah,
60
but
pounds.
then he
farmers
revealed-
walk fucking 20 blocks.
Right.
then he revealed that he had gotten there that day in an Uber and had tried to lift it off of his like bench and realized that bringing it from his bench down to the Uber was impossible. And so then
Now
he
he's losing
walked
me.
out. He walked out to his Uber, and then he worried that leaving it on his bench would leave an indent in the bench. So he went back up the stairs and took it off the bench, put it on the floor, and then went back down to the Uber without it and got in the car.
Does he know what 55 pounds
I was gonna
is?
say, it's like
all of this to move around as much and have the concern he did without thinking it was possible to bring it to the Uber. It was so baffling to me that we spent an entire podcast talking
like
about
if
it.
I was like, I don't want to do this. That's what he was like. I
mean, that's always a
can't-
part of it with
I
him.
can't get it in the car. It's like, yes, you can. If I was, I don't want to lift 60 pounds up and down the stairs. Fine, but
Yeah.
to be like, he was like, no, but I can't get in the car. It's like,
Right.
yes, you can.
No, it's I love that he didn't go to college really and just entered this world, this circus of like illogical comedic thinking where he missed very formulative years of people being like, that's wrong and here's why.
right. Don't say that.
Yeah,
Do this.
this
That's
is wrong
weird.
and here's why and this is
Yeah.
why. So he has the confidence of a successful, tenured young professional without any of the education or humility.
Yeah, humility.
And it leads to incredibly ingrained, strong opinions that are so wrong. And it's a
That
wonderful.
usually works on the internet. It works on
it's
podcasts.
so good for
you
our
know?
podcast.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just so good. And Roan's such a yes man that he like would let it flow, but then I joined the pod.
It's like, no,
and I can't allow it because I have really strong opinions and I'm arrogant. So I think I'm right. So it's like, that's why.
He's ironically kind of the most Barstool of anyone here because I feel like Barstool's kind of based off of like, I could do that.
Yeah.
Totally.
While
Totally.
also being the least Barstool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just like
he's
ironic that he actually
It's
is.
a weird paradox on that one.
Have better sex with Blue Chew, the original brand offering OG chewable tablets. These erection-enhancing tablets help men achieve stronger, harder, and longer-lasting erections for sexual activities. They are putting their money where its mouth is, and they're offering you a free month. You want a free month of hard dick? I bet you and your girlfriend or your spouse of any kind wants that. Free month of hard dick sounds good to me. The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com. You consult with one of their licensed professionals, and once you're approved, you receive your prescription within days. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to worry about anything. It's all done on the computer, and it gets shipped right to your house in all discreet shipping. You don't have to be worried about it, although you shouldn't be ashamed of it. There's no more stigma anymore. Everybody's eating these. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared, shipped directly to your door, so you're going to have a good old-fashioned American boner. You're going to have a patriotic hard-on because of Blue Chew. Anytime, day or night, you can take these. You can plan ahead, get ready for the opportunity when it arises, and it's all done online. Like I said, no visits, no awkwardness, no nothing. So you're going to be more confident, especially in the bedroom, with Blue Chew. And right now, they're making it easier to get harder by going to BlueChew.com. Special deal right now, first month free when you go to BlueChew.com. More details for important safety information and all that, go to BlueChew.com and get your first month for free. Thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. And thanks to them for sponsoring Yo Dig. The Joe Schmo Show is back. If you're older like me, you remember the original one. The first time they ever really made a spoof of a reality show, the Joe Schmo Show. We had all the other different reality shows where one guy was like the star and the king, and now they took that guy and they're playing a prank on him where that guy is the only person who doesn't know that everyone else around him is an actor in on the spoof. So Joe Schmo is back with 5-time Emmy Award nominee Kat Deely as the host. It's January 21st, 9 p.m. on TBS. It's the show within a show. So you're watching a show about this guy who thinks he's on a reality show, except it's all one big joke. So if you don't like these reality TV eras that we're in, where all these people are becoming famous and they're just looking for attention, you can watch the Joe Schmo Show, which pokes fun at this whole thing. If you're a reality TV show junkie, you'll love it too, because it's all one big gag. It's hilarious for everybody except for Ben, who he's getting completely played by everybody in what is the most audacious ruse in TV history. So it's a social experiment about embracing the hilarity of the game. There's over-the-top humor, it's action-packed moments, pranks at a new level to a new height. So check it out on TBS, January 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern, the Joe Schmo Show. Say that 10 times fast. The Joe Schmo Show, the Joe Schmo Show, the Joe Schmo Show, the Joe Schmo Show premieres Tuesday, January 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern on TBS, the Joe Schmo Show.
Before I let you go, I know Dave put out a video talking about, so Grace went on Theo Von talking about her tour. I think Grace got a little taken out of context, or like if you listen, a lot of people are saying if you listen to the full interview, she was very appreciative of Barstool and grateful and all that. And even in the clip, she was saying that Dave acknowledged as much. But there was this part of, I think when comedians find out that if you do comedy at Barstool, you don't get the money, you don't get the tour, their brains short circuit.
Is that true?
She said that she didn't get the I guess it was probably a difference between her tour and the Plan Bri tour.
Yes. Her comedy tour, she gets the money. Plan Bri, she did not.
Right. And
I get that.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where it's like if you get a salary,
yeah,
comics don't get a salary. You know what I mean? So it's like when Grace was making $175,000 a year, like that's a very big difference for the normal comic. So then when you go out and you earn money for the company, you're kind of paying back your salary.
Well,
and I think you reach a point though where it's like, I remember being like, was getting paid to blog and do podcasts. Now we're like going on the road, and this is something above and beyond.
Sure.
And so now we need to work out some sort of cut, because I don't think I deserve all of it, but I think it's different than just my regular contract, you know? Mm-hmm. But I just feel like sometimes comics, you know, and she even mentioned, she was saying how they wanted to sponsor her comedy, and she was like, I don't want to do that because like in the comedy world, it's viewed as like, I don't know, a scarlet letter to like have your tour sponsored.
Okay.
I just think some of these comedy rules are like fucking insane.
The rules?
Like the etiquette, if you will, you know what I mean? Or even just understanding sometimes. It's like, yeah, she has a salary, and then the money that makes there has to come back, and then...
I get the comic one. I get a podcast tour being sponsored. I get as a comic being like, I don't need to be sponsored. Like,
but the problem what you run into though is then it's like, well, then you're spending, and I think I'm asking you this because I think you kind of ran into it where it's like, well, then you're putting all your effort into your stand up. You know what I mean? You got to if you're like, I make all my money from my comedy tour, and then that's like what you focus on. It's like that's bad for business. You know
I just meant I wasn't talking about that. I meant like when she said she doesn't want her comedy tour sponsored.
Oh, to be sponsored. Oh, okay.
Okay. Excuse me.
I think that's crazy, but
I think there's a part of where you're like, well, you paid for a ticket, not for an advertisement. Where like you bought your ticket, you've spent your money. I don't need to lecture you now on a product.
Okay, I'm not
like I'm going to make money from this because you bought tickets. You paid money to see it, so you bought your ticket. I don't need to make more money from this by like doing ad reads in front of you.
I guess so. I mean, if you turn it into like one giant advertisement, I can understand that. If you put out like posters that are like the Grace Tour presented by Mamitas, and then you're like we used to kind of do with Pink Whitney.
Yeah.
It's like we're all gonna do a shot at the show, and it's like we can get fucking 20 extra grand for that. I don't think if I was in the audience, I wouldn't be like, this is bullshit.
No. I get that.
And,
sure.
and so sometimes I think there's like you're leaving a lot of money on the table from some pretty easy lifts that I don't think would like bastardize the comedy or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, listen, if Body Armor came to me tomorrow and said we want to next behind you on stage in the cities that you go to have a
good
painting or a fucking poster that says drink Body Armor and have you wear a Body Armor t-shirt and we'll give you X, I would do that any day of the week.
Really? I would not do that.
Even
really? I would.
Even
I
if
don't know about wear a
you
shirt,
don't need to make all the money. Like we got a fair exchange here. You bought tickets to see a show. I'm doing the show.
All the money. You're admirable. I want to make all the money.
I want to make anything I can, and
I just think if like 10 minutes of the show is like,
but
I'm
then
going to talk to you about electrolytes, but if it's just like Body Armor right here, I'm not
even like I don't even want to speak about it in like a Barstool sense. But if I was going to a comedy show and they had all that stuff, I'd be like, dude, like you're encroaching on a fair deal. I bought tickets. You do the show. Like all of this,
that's like being at a sporting event, though.
But there and also,
I hated it sporting events.
They didn't buy a premium ticket. They didn't buy a ticket that stipulated this show will be presented sponsor free.
No, I know, but like for all of eternity,
it's a little gauche.
Implied,
it's gauche. Yeah, I get it.
Like if I went to see Mulaney and he had fucking Body Armor, I'd be like, this is fucking kind of sucks.
Yeah,
like,
well then maybe you lose repeat fans, at which point you have to make a decision.
I also think like Mulaney's not going to do it, but if you're in the middle area where it's like I have enough.
But then I'm just thinking about it as a fan. Then I'd be the other way where I'd be like, who the fuck does this guy think he is?
Yeah.
Like if you're a middle of the road guy, like with.
But if it was just like a step and repeat was there or something like that, or it was like on your menu tonight, if somebody in the beginning of their show or whatever in the middle is like, hey, make sure you check out this like martini because it's this fucking drink or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be like, this is fucking crazy.
I feel like people respect it more now because like I was talking to some people about how how if you pause like Hulu or something and then there's an ad on there, I'm kind of like, get your money. I don't care. That's
I'm
not
fine with that
at
one.
all. And I've talked to a lot of people and they feel the same. So I feel like now it's like we know how much money people can get from ads. Like we know that like people gotta get paid. And if it's not in like a way that's like taking time away from me, like get your money.
If anything, I feel like
comedians,
comics, and podcasts and shit have fans that like want to support the cause.
Yeah, but like I want to support the cause. I'll buy a merch. I'll buy a sweatshirt. I'll buy a t if it's a fucking good one. I'll buy a sweatshirt. I'll buy a t-shirt. But like, I just think everything has become so over monetized. Which is like you don't need to make fucking $50 million on this show. You're gonna make a lot of money. I paid my ticket. Like you're gonna make the money from it.
I do think that some of the money that comics are making now is like, it almost inherently has to change the industry a little bit, right? We got guys making like you're making like athlete money, making like Ronaldo money to be a comic now. And don't get me wrong, they earn it because you guys are on the road like 75 fucking nights a week. But like, it's just you're never gonna be the same like comic you were when you made $100 million. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't see Nate Bargatze
I guess
getting
Nate's a
any
good
worse.
Example. Yeah,
and he's
not worse, but like
was the highest grossing comic last year. I think
Nate
this is what I would say.
Nate will like always be like,
yeah, but what happens?
I think there's other people out there.
You look at Kevin Hart.
Kevin
Hart, right? Kevin Hart's first 3 or 4 specials were getting better and better and were amazing. And then, Chase hires him to be their spokesperson. He does 40 movies with The Rock, and he gets pulled in 20 different directions.
Right.
That does not allow for you to keep up your comedic stand-up chops in the way that you need to for your next comedy special to keep being the right direction. So if Nate starts, which he's, you can start seeing it happening a little bit. Like he's being added to these weird, like live golf matches. He's being asked to host these random, like New Year's Eve countdowns. It's just this corporatification, commercialization of a person who has said, up to this point, my sole focus is this.
Mm-hmm.
And
now it just can't be. I mean,
I know. Well, it could be, but it will take great restraint because why would you turn down a
commercial or some shit that's like easy
fucking
work.
Chase commercial with one day and you get $10 million for it.
Right, but you do that 10 times with 10 different people, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that took up half my year.
It just it's the overexposure thing too.
I always think about that with the overexposure stuff. Again, working here because as Marty said, we're the kings of it. No one can overexpose like Barstool can. Like I'm less, or not. I would be less eager to do things for money. But I worry that I would get overexposed of doing things, just being like, well, that'd be fucking cool to play in that golf thing, or like I don't think
the opportunities
in that if I was in Nate's shoes, I probably wouldn't do like a Chase commercial. But if they were like, you want to host this, you want to present to the Globes, I'd be like, yeah, it'd be fun, right, like that. Right. I think is more.
But I wonder. That's where I'm saying it's like that. It's like sports almost. It's like. You're talking about being the best of the best. You have to be like almost 100% focused. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the minute that you're not, it's like Tom Brady was Tom Brady because he never gave a fuck about like anything else.
Right.
And you could still be great, but you're not.
But also, like Tom Brady still did commercials. He hosted SNL.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, but he almost did that to like, because someone was like, "Dude, you're not appearing human." And it'd be
that's when he was most human.
That's what I'm saying.
But that was all early years. People started thinking he was a robot later.
I remember him going on like Letterman or Fallon and chugging a beer super fast.
That was very.
And I remember watching that and being like, the only reason that's probably the first beer he's had in a year.
Yeah.
And the only reason he's doing this is to like dispel the unbelievably robotic, like cutthroat, icy, determined athlete.
But you know what?
But
you're not wrong in the sense. But you're also completely wrong in that. Like the only reason he did that on Fallon is because everyone talks about he's the greatest beer drinker of all time. All his linemen, like any former Patriot. So that's why I mean, like,
sure.
Also, if you're not a Patriots fan, you probably don't know. But
then
any lineman is always like
cynical. You're like, well, did he only drink a beer in the locker room in front of his linemen to like, to get that word out there?
But I do think chugging a beer is not the best example because that shit plays every time, man.
Yeah.
When you get put on the jumbotron, you chug a beer, everyone goes, "Yo, he's like he's not a superstar. He's not right." It just plays every time.
At the time he did that. I think the one you're referring to, I think he was in his 40s. I think he was towards the end of his career. But like most of the stories are all from his 20s.
Drinking days when he was Tara Reid and fucking.
There was the game they got snowed. They got stuck up in Buffalo, so they all went to like what's the dinosaur place upstate? It's like there's some like famous mini chain kind of deal. It's like Dino BBQ.
Oh, just like Dino BBQ.
Yeah. And he went and just like put on a clinic and was just like slamming beers in everyone's face. And it was like, I would guess it was probably like 2006. And like that's when he was dating Tara Reid and he was going on SNL.
Yeah.
And then he met Alex Guerrero and flipped.
Stopped eating tomatoes. Yeah. I struggle to imagine a guy who will not eat tomatoes being like, oh yeah, I've been chugging a lot of beers lately. Want to see this new skill?
That doesn't add up.
But again, it was just there's a clear line. Once he met Alex Guerrero,
sure,
that.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, good stuff. Appreciate you coming through.
I don't know if I answered your question about the money in the Barstool.
Oh
thing.
Yeah.
That is a challenge. I think it's a strange balancing act. It's one that I have really tried, and especially lately, like in the last 2 years. First of all, I did too much on the road, and it broke me down. But I always made sure to like have that be on the weekends and not keep me from, doing what I needed to do. And in this year and in this past 6 months or so, I've just said, you know what? I'm so happy at Barstool, and I want this to be my priority. And there's no reason for me to believe that if I really put my best foot forward and focus on all of this, that I won't make more money and grow my profile here
right,
versus being out doing stand-up. I still love doing stand-up, and I'm still going to do it. John's coming with me to D.C. first weekend of February,
6th
to the 8th.
Which was the second week of February.
Second weekend of February, which we're really excited about. But I'm just not going to be a guy who's on the road every fucking weekend. I can't do it. It, almost crushed my entire life.
Yeah.
And made me not want to do stand-up. I was totally burned out. So I'm just going to be a lot more like selective, intentional, and try to enjoy it more. But it's not for the money.
The name of the game, bro. The name of the game, dude.
Yeah.
So go get tickets at the DC Comedy Loft, February 6th through 8th. Are you excited to see this guy up there?
I'm excited to have John
Yeah.
and see how he, handles a real like road weekend. He's going to have to do 5 sets. He's going to have to get to 15 minutes. And I would also say that the big thing for him that might be a little jarring is that my fans are not like Barstool rah-rah fans.
Mm-hmm.
These are people that typically come because they listen to Oops the Podcast or they know me from Alternate Side Parking Thursday and they expect me to be a real stand-up. So you're not going to see a lot of like anus shirts. You're not going to see a lot of people who are just like excited to see us. You're going to see couples that are like, we hired a babysitter. You better fucking make this night worth it.
I'm very excited.
And you might
have fun, John.
find yourself treading some water, and it's going to make you, you'll learn quick.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find it. So I have total faith.
Also, let me just jump in there. If I know my boy, I've said it's just more like life things where I'll be like, you better watch out for this or that, and he's always kind of like, I'll be fine, and it usually is.
Yeah, I don't have any worry at all. I saw you when we did the Out of Order live show in Philly, and you just were such a natural. It was like kind of frustrating, and so I have total faith. But you could have a rough moment, and I'm excited.
Does.
I do too.
Yeah.
It'll be
That's an experience, right? Yeah. It's a
It'll-
lot easier to have a rough moment when it's kind of like your new, like, not side gig, but like I already have a job. So it's one thing if it's like, oh, no one's ever gonna come see me again. I don't have any income. It's like, oh, that was a cool experience that I'll learn from. I can talk about. I
kind of want it. Like I don't want it, obviously, but like I haven't had an opportunity to bomb. Really, it's been pretty Barstool friendly crowds.
Yeah.
But I kind of want just like not a full bomb, but it's like a joke to like that I think is funny to go nowhere. Like, I thought that was funny.
That's how you would handle it. You'd be like, I don't know. Like, and the audience would be like, that's funny.
It makes sense. I'm kind of realizing you guys are like same person, different fonts. Like nice backgrounds, same coloring, same
Yeah.
fonts is great.
Yeah, but like one's kind
I
of
gotta go
like
through the list of fonts and figure out which
scumbag.
one's which.
Wait, whoa. You said one's kind of a scumbag?
you, yeah.
No, Jackie, I'm a total piece of shit too.
Like, yeah, I'm not like discarding from you.
Yeah,
He just polishes it up. You know? He just has a good vocabulary. That's it.
I have a crush on one of Jackie's friends, and I'm always texting her, or whenever she posts a photo with this girl, I'm like,
Hook it up.
check in.
She has a boyfriend.
Yeah,
Well,
not for long.
How would you get you
Get a wedge. You got a wedge in there.
But we have a funny rapport where I try to present well for Jackie in case the word gets back to her.
What did,
Would
what
you?
did
Would you?
say?
Would you? If she was single, would you hook it up?
Would I hook it? I don't know if I could do that to her. I'm kidding. No, I could see it. I could see
No,
it.
I think I'm too old for her.
What did you
It's
say?
just
You
a funny
said-
thing.
You said, give her like a wink.
Oh yeah, you messaged me and said like I'm hanging out with her, and you were like I'm out with her or whatever, and I was like, oh, tell her I say hi, but like in kind of like a coy, standoffish way.
Which one is
like
she?
maybe
That's my family.
maybe like give her a wink and then don't talk to her for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I did this and whatever,
wink.
and
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
girls
like,
are
that's
knockout.
not right.
I can't wink.
You'll be the first to know. If anything happens. I ship it. I'm in full support.
That's great.
All right, good stuff, man. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. Always a
you so
pleasure.
much, brother.
Appreciate
All
you.
right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.